Hello. Does this work? Yes, it is. Okay, good.
Yay!
Hello, and
We're
welcome,
back.
welcome to the question and answer session, or like we like to call the After Dark section, where we take questions from the audience. If you missed the previous episode we just did on FPS in Star Citizen, that'll be above DZ's head right there. You click that link, and you'll be able to watch that full episode. If you watch this live or listen to this on the podcast after the fact, you're good. You've already heard it. We're going to jump right into the question and answer session. But make sure to check out Citizen DZ on YouTube, Axis0096 everywhere, and HD Vertigo on Twitch and YouTube if you like Star Citizen content. All right. So the first question from the question bot. Did the question bot crash? The question bot literally crashed.
Yeah.
Try to run it again.
To mess things up takes
Yes.
Any person can mess things up. To really make a mess takes a computer.
So I'll have to go back and look at some of them because it looks like it crashed about 30 minutes
Space
ago.
Tomato Raid.
Yeah, the Space Tomato Raid crashed it.
Don't tell Space Tomato.
It's
Don't
his
give him
fault.
the satisfaction.
Don't give him the satisfaction.
Well, let's go some of those questions that aren't on there then, because there's some people who pulled some up. CM Fool asked, "Why do we allow respawn? It's so unrealistic. Any means of this game." I'm just not going to answer that question because it's CM Fool. He's just rage baiting.
Why do we want to respawn in our video game? Because that's how you deal with players being able to play their game.
Yeah.
Right.
Harbinger of Moisturization asks, question: With self-revive mechanics coming in, do you think murderers full kill instead of downing will increase PvP altercations? Seems counterintuitive to the future of the game, with death of a spaceman coming in by seemingly encouraging people to finish off targets to avoid them rejoining the fight. I honestly think that they will likely have 3 down states. I don't know if the state will be downed and crawling, downed and out with a timer, and dead. Because I think the current states are fine. Just adding a downed crawl state would add that a little bit more. The key is, does CIG want to discourage double taps? And I think the answer is no, they don't want to discourage double taps. But at the same time, they want to make that decision have an effect. By double tapping someone, there should be some sort of consequence or some sort of action. Either you're wasting ammo, or your reputation takes a hit, or something like that. There has to be some sort of consequence for people who decide that I'm just going to pull the trigger because I don't want to have to deal with this person anymore. But what do y'all think? Do you think it's counterintuitive to CIG being like, "Hey, we want you to live longer," to give a state where someone could self-revive themselves?
To stop people from double tapping, you're gonna have to give good reason to make them not double tap. Like right now, there's tons of reasons to double tap, and then you add a self revive on top of that. If a guy has a self revive and you don't confirm that kill, he'll just stand up and shoot you in the back, or he'll stand up and he'll take stuff from you, or you'll steal your ship, your vehicle. If you unlock even if he doesn't have access to your vehicle, you still blow the doors open, right? Or he gets a boom tube somehow, and he blows up your ship. Or he calls his buddy in, and he use his location as a marker. If he's down, and he's in a party with somebody. He's like, "Oh, I've been shot. I'm over here. Oh, it's okay. I'll fly my interest over there." Boom! All your stuff is dead. Right. So there's a lot of reasons to confirm a kill in Star Citizen, like right now, and then you're gonna add a self revive to that. Like I'm gonna be tossing I already toss grenades onto corpses.
Yeah.
Right? If I can't shoot the guy, if you die behind cover, that immediately after you go down, I'm tossing a grenade on you to dissuade your teammates from running up and healing you. And if they do heal you, you're going to eat a grenade.
Yeah. Like I said, there needs to be some. If they want to do it, they need to have a consequence for it. And if there's no consequence now, and I don't think they want to. So.
There is something we can add to this discussion. I think Axis and DZ would like to discuss is the idea of the original pitch for bounty hunting, where you had to physically take people into a cryotube and deliver them to a security post. So player restraint showed up on the progress tracker like a while ago. Like we're gonna get actually like handcuffs. We saw like a taser a long time ago as well. So we know that idea is cooking. The idea of disabling players and like tying them up or something.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry.
There you go. Well, Axis, what do you got? You're next. I'm done talking. What do you got, Axis, for us?
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed I was muted. Thank you, chat.
Yeah.
Also, Vertigo, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Who remembers that really weird white box bit for Hurston Security Checkpoint or whatever it was?
It was along the side
was
with
it?
with the Hawk was getting its cryopod integration, right?
Mhm.
That was that
it
same
was
episode.
like 2023,
I
22?
want to say, yeah, it was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's times like these I wish we had stills from it, because then we could show audience, oh yeah, this is what we're talking about. Watch this episode to review it. So I mean,
No, I agree.
I wish they hadn't. I wish they'd at least completed the area before just away, right?
Well, I think the reason why they didn't complete it is because they wanted to really understand how it would work, and they probably didn't fully understand how it worked. And we've seen that enough times where CIG will do something, be like, "This is how it's going to work," and then they just completely change how that gameplay works. And they're like, "Oh, well, now we have to completely rework this area or this ship or something like that." So,
but I will raise with you, Paul. It brings into something else about law enforcement and Star Citizen. Is everybody in every system just going to go to Klesher? Because Klesher is just, as far as I know, a private prison operated in Stanton.
Chris wanted to make a moon a prison, and players who were griefing too much would end up in that prison. He wanted to have a battle royale mode where players who were hacking or were doing naughty things, if they got caught, would end up in a moon-sized prison and just force them to fight each other.
Fight club, yeah.
I mean, the one thing where Axis brings up about all roads lead to Klesher, like, yeah, if you have a bounty on your head and you get caught by a bounty hunter, you next time you respawn because they tie you up or something, you have a choice. You can have a timer, right? This is how I would imagine it, right? You get caught by a bounty hunter, they tie you up, they throw you into a cell. You can wait for a timer and try to get your people to like bust you out of that cell, and then you get to play again. Or you could just like submit and you just wake up in Klesher, right? Because that's just where all bounties get thrown in, right? Because Star Citizen has respawn, right? Baked into the lore. The best way to handle criminals is to not let them die, right?
Yeah.
Just to keep it like was it Demolition Man?
Yeah.
With Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone, put them on ice. They can't respawn if they don't die.
Yeah,
so they'll never be another first problem.
Just mentioned Quarterdeck.
Yeah, that's an actual lore thing.
Is a large prison. That's the big piano super prison that when I think there will be a division. Speaking of prison stuff, before we go too much further, I think there's going to be a split. Local prisons like Klesher will probably be for lower offenders at a certain point. Bigger crimes like killing government officials or threatening to disrupt the UAE, that will probably get you sent to Quarterdeck in Kellogg.
Once they have it in. Yeah. But I do think that we will see more prisons rather than when Terra comes in, we'll see a prison in Terra. There'll probably be a prison somewhere in
Nyx too.
Well, maybe
Nyx will probably have a holding room or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do think there would definitely be one in Castro, which would be like the old like brig, effectively.
Yeah, they'll have a brig area. I know they will because it's a military base. They have the boot, obviously. Yeah. People know what the boot is.
But I can imagine. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, DZ, your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, it's without trying to dive too far down the rabbit hole. Obviously, the whole crime and punishment thing is a big topic of what actions need to have consequences. So if we're talking in the double tap sort of, question as we started, was if you're doing org v org gameplay, obviously you're going to double tap. But is that then going to mean, like, if you've gone to attack an org's base or something like that, is it their rule of law? Is it the system's rule of law? Is it how does that all going to work? Do that org have their own brig and they can lock you up for whatever, and then like you say, why wouldn't you just backspace and respawn, save you time if it is going to Klesher or wherever it may be. But if you like Stormbreaker, see someone else there, of course you're going to double tap them. You know what I mean? You're there for a purpose. You don't want them doing any of the stuff that Vertigo mentioned. So yeah, I think it does come down to how are they going to do? How is the rule of law in each system? Organizations, player to player, bounty hunting. Are we going to get people in Carbonite, and taking them to the kiln like they have in Guardians of the Galaxy, where they just dump them all in there, no guards, just let them fight amongst themselves, all the murder hobos. So yeah, but currently, you just double tap. There's no reason not to. If you're going to take the dude down anyway, you've already accepted the punishment that may be coming. Of course, you're just going to finish them off, because unless you're going to stand over them and flash your flashlight at them and go, look, dude, I put you down once, let's call it quits. It's not going to happen, is it? You're just going to have to just end them.
Yeah. The vast majority of times when I come across players, if you down them and then revive them, they're just going to want to screw you over later on.
Yeah,
like minutes later.
Yeah,
they're going to be really salty about that one time you shoot them.
And I do think that restraints might help a little bit, because people who, if you have more of a consequence for killing players, like if you double tap players, it sounds unrealistic, but I think it's more fun and more engaging. If you double tap players, then you get a higher crime stat.
Yeah.
Paul, I just thought of something. One thing that will help prevent double tapping, if you can disarm players.
Yeah.
Like fully. If player looting gets back in somehow, some way, we have like insurance claims for like subscriber flare, and you can just strip people of all their armor. You revive them and just like, okay, bro, you got no guns, you got no armor. We're like a group of 4 players. You're just one dude. Get the hell out of here. Just hit the road.
I think
disabling the weapons and things like that. Yeah, I think that's the only argument against it. So
I've made a lot of friends in games like DayZ by either catching somebody and disarming them, and then they ended up like getting in a situation and they helped us out. And it was like, okay, yeah, like or the opposite, where I get caught and then they get in a situation to help them out, and it's like, cool, well, we're cool now. And so there's a lot of like things you can do, but you just need to make sure you incentivize the don't kill them. And I think things like higher criminal penalties, high negative reputation. I know CIG seems to be wanting to move away from negative reputation, but having negative reputation costs for killing versus downing somebody and like restraining them and stuff like that. Even in places like Pyro. Though I do also think that there should be places like Pyro where the answer is always double tap. Why? Because it's Pyro. Like there should be places where you go there and it's like, this place is bloodthirsty and ruthless. Like, yeah. You expect that to happen. That's the danger of doing it there. But in places like Stanton or Nyx, should be a little bit less severe, and that'll helps also elevate the threat level, where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna double tap you in Nyx because I like my reputation, but in Pyro I don't care. There's no law here. I can just do what I want, and you're more of a threat, so I can do what I need to. So I think that the question is in the spirit of like, isn't this a bad thing for their goals? And I think the answer is it's probably good in the context of all of the other things they're doing that we don't see yet. This is not just we're doing this for gameplay sake. We're doing this in collaboration with these other teams for 1.0 vision down the road. I do earnestly think the CIG is moving in that direction because of how they've been discussing the game. So. All right. Let me go back through some. There's a question that was on YouTube that I saw. That before everything got a couple of questions on YouTube got screwed over. Hellinger07 asks, considering all the starware and armor restriction stuff they talked about, what would you consider your daily outfit? Or would you change often to specialize for certain situations? You just change.
Yeah.
Every MMO has your grind gear, your raid gear, have special gear you use, and that's what the gear closets are.
Yeah. I would love to have loadout lockers.
Yeah.
Just so I could. I would love to wear like my cloth clothing. in Area 18 when I'm going shopping instead of my armor, but it's just really kind of a pain in the butt to switch out using the inventory system to
Do you know,
unequip everything and then re-equip my civilian stuff.
Even just switching from like heavy to medium to do hauling missions. You know, if you're just going to be running like light armor, if you're just going to be hauling, you're just going to be running around, so you want to run
still
quicker.
need the extra slots and maybe a gun on your hip and med pens and then multi-tool and like you need a two-handed multi-tool on your backpack.
I would spend hours lining up. There's my medic gear. There's my heavy gear. Here's my super heavy. There's my hauling gear. There's my civvies. There's my, if I want to go out in my Constellation Phoenix and look like a knob, you know, this is just your fancy suit. Line them all up. Give us it. Give us the suit lockers. They are there for a reason. If they're making loadouts, they're making specific character customization options and specialties for the combat gameplay and obviously other gameplay. The armor, we need that option. Because unequipping, if you unequip your bag and it's got all your stuff in it and you've forgotten to move things across, it's just
a pain in the ass.
I hate it. Yeah, I tried to gear myself up once or twice a patch because I just can't be bothered. It's just it takes so long.
Energy M1 says turns into Barbie dress up. Yes, all MMOs do. Yeah. All MMOs do. That is the final state of all MMOs.
Yeah, even if you don't participate, like it becomes what MMOs turn into, just fashion citizen, you know.
Because all it takes is you see one person with a fancy bit of gear and you go, "Ooh, what's that?" And then you've got it. That's it. They've got you. Fashion's coming.
Everyone has a style. Like the second I saw the cow skull helmet, I'm like, I need that. That's my that's my helmet now. And then it took recently. Someone's like, "That's medium armor." I'm like, "Fuck, God damn it!" Now I can't wear it in terms of like combat because it's medium armor, and it doesn't have really good stats. It's like, well, if I could craft it to have better stats, maybe it would be good. And I like the idea of having it be a medium armor, but if it like give it so that I have a reason to wear it rather than just because it looks cool. You know, I want it to really look cool, and I want to wear it. You know? All right, next question. So you access the same question, which is, do you think? What do you think about the restrictions, the starware for certain stuff? Would you?
I think it's going to happen. We already have in lore some landing zones you can't even land your ship at. You're going to have to drive in by vehicle, so that means light duty. Probably not even your backpack. There might be searches, you know, like high security. Borea, if the planet Borea, you know, in the Magnus system, which might be among the next 5 planetary systems we get, is the headquarters of Drake. But that's not the city I'm talking about. I'm talking about Newcastle, the capital.
Which has a huge
you have to park
security
outside the city and be ferried in on vehicle. So you might have to check in and have very restrictive clothing to even get in the city proper. So, I mean, it does storytelling in a pretty good way when you think about it.
Yeah, adds a little bit more to the story as well. Like, I mean, there are plenty of good and bads. Like, there are games that take everything away from you, and then you have to kind of improvise, and people have fun with that. And there are games that do that, and you're just like, this is just a trope. I'm tired of this trope. I don't want to do this. But I've had times like Fallout is a great example of that. There are times in Fallout games where they do it, and it feels really tropey. It's like we're forcing you to experience this new content, so you can't use your old powerful content. Because then, like. Two rooms later, you get all your stuff back, and it's like, well, what the hell was that for? But then, like, I want to say, Dead Money DLC for Fallout New Vegas did that exact same thing, and it was very impactful because it made you feel powerless, and it made you feel like I have to plan, I have to think about what I'm doing now. And so, yeah, that is a way you can do for telling stories and also for atmospheric storytelling.
And I'm gonna talk about Dead Money just a little bit because that is actually one of my favorite DLCs for Fallout New Vegas because of how interesting. Like you don't have all your toys, so you have to like go through the story. You have to experience the story. You can't just slaughter everything in your path. And from what reading I've done around the Fallout fan base, a lot of people do not like Dead Money specifically because of the toys taken away. Yeah.
But I like it for that specific reason, because it takes your toys away and then throws really difficult encounters at you. It's like, well, if you had
Yeah.
your toys, you'd be able
The
to do well.
character,
It's
the
like you
voice
don't.
acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oblivion did a great job. I think it was it was Obsidian. Sorry, Obsidian did a great job with that DLC, in my opinion.
Yeah. I understand why some people prefer other ones, but like they did Bethesda did the same thing with Mothership
Oh.
Zeta, and that felt
Mothership Zeta and a lot of other ones too.
and that sucked, because it was like they gave you your toys back within like 3 rooms. It's like, then why
Yeah.
did you take them away in the first place?
Yeah.
Just
It's a
middle
trope.
finger you.
It actually happened to you in like the base game of Fallout 3 too, where you get
Yeah.
stun bombed like at some point in the plot, and they take you to like the Enclave base, and I can't remember if you're walking around without your power armor for a little
Yeah,
while,
you,
but you get
you
everything
are.
back.
You get everything back right before the door, before you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a trope that it's kind of a lot of people do not like, because once you get into that vibe and that grind, and you're enjoying the combat, and the game
Mhm.
suddenly just hits you with a flashbang, and you're disabled, and you wake up in prison, and it's just like all your crap's gone. Now you have to like do the whole prison escape thing, buck naked.
And I think you could do something like that with Star Citizen in terms of atmospheric storytelling, which is where I think that Starware can actually become a pretty interesting way of looking at it. Like Axis said, some places which are so locked down and so restrictive that like you can't even wear, like the most you'd wear is an undersuit and a helmet. Otherwise, other than your civvies, and to go there, because they don't want to take
Fallout
you
New Vegas had that as well. Like they would take your weapons away on going into
To the
the
casinos.
casinos on the
Yeah.
strips.
Yeah.
the holdouts.
And you had specific weapons you could sneak in, like shivs or small, short, snubby pistols,
Yeah.
holdout weapons.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna mention a game that nobody's gonna know. I just love to be able to mention my nerd card here. Deus Ex Invisible War, the hated one,
yeah, the
had
invisible
that for their bars, where they would actually disable your weapons. They had armistice zones in that game that would disable your weapons in certain areas, so you couldn't pull your gun out and just kill like story characters and whatnot, and slaughter, important story plot point characters, all willy nilly. To force you to actually interact with the plot, because
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you have to like build the game around the idea that every character is like expendable, and like how do you tell a story if the character that's giving the exposition is going to be dead in 5 minutes because the player decided you just game over. Because there's games that do that, where if like, oh, you killed, like I think Metal Gear Solid did that or something. What version of Metal Gear Solid where you kill like one of the plot important characters, and the game just ends, and like you've created a time paradox. You
Yes.
can't do that.
Ironically, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does that often, where like you can
Mhm.
actually literally go to the main boss's camp and slaughter everyone. And if you do, you kill the main antagonist, and it's like, congratulations, you killed him and changed history, and then it ends. Like it just ends and forces you, if you want to play, you have to go back to a previous save and do a
you have to
one.
play it the way we intended it, right?
Yeah.
So there are ways where you can write a game where every character in the game is killable.
Yeah.
Right. But that's difficult.
New Vegas.
And yeah. Or you do it like Bethesda, and you just said like this character just can't be killed because
the thread of prophecy has been severed.
Yeah.
For Morrowind.
Or
right.
like Skyrim, where like you couldn't kill like whatever. Let's move on.
Just Eric asks. This is a good one. Or Eric asks. Considering we get breaching mechanics with ships, do you see us getting something similar on foot to take over a vehicle? Besides using exploits like empty clip the door to make it open. They've said, yeah, they're adding breaching charges. There's breaching charges in Squadron, and they're adding it to Star Citizen.
I guarantee you, we're going to be using those breaching charges to access secure areas for a mission.
Yeah,
for sure. A building. There's going to be a building out in the middle of nowhere. Like, you have to take the breaching charge up, throw it on the door, blow the door open, and inside you're going to shoot a bunch of guys.
Or
like that Call of Duty Modern Warfare mission.
There's going to end up with like Rainbow Six Siege style missions, breach and clear, that kind of thing. As long as they're not thinking about like in Halo, where you jump onto a ship and then throw a grenade inside it, kill everyone, rip the door off, and dive in and take over it yourself. You know what I mean? It's a breaching charge for like getting into a ship that's stationary.
I mean, I throw around the idea of the cutting beam being used for like breaching ships. You can just cut through the door in a few seconds. It takes a little bit to cut the door off its hinges, but you can. I would love to. That was supposed to be a thing years ago.
Yeah,
the cutting beam.
Yeah. Which makes sense, like you say, rather than just emptying a clip on a door and it pops off.
Yeah.
I do think that we'll see especially with Maelstrom, that's the other question: is how destructible are ships? Because it could be a situation where you can just slap a breaching charge to the hull of any ship and rip a hole through it, and then you've got your access
Yeah,
point.
it's not. It is okay. So I know for those of you who have actually played, again, another nerd card moment here. For those of you who have played hard space shipbreakers, it's not going to be that. You're going to have to breach through very specific points. CIG will have ships set up to allow them to be breached wherever, probably for Squadron 42 with the Vandal breaching pods.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like a custom animation, probably, where you're going to have specific spots where you can breach through the hull. But it's not going to be like hard space shipbreakers or space engineers, where you can just cut through any part of the ship all willy-nilly. Because
you can also see right now, like armor as it functions, in 4.7, you have to have a certain level of like damage to even break certain armor. So like the breaching charge to breach an Idris armor would be insanely big. It would be like just carrying a bomb and strap that thing to the side of an Idris to actually breach it. But a door can't have that level of armor, so it would be a little bit because it has to move and stuff like that. So
yeah. Or you can hack the door open with like the Legionnaire.
With you mean with your space wizard, with your
yes, I know people
caster?
like we need spellcast. I love how to rage bait that. Listen, we need spellcasting and
spellcasting.
We don't fucking wizards and Star Citizen. Are you stupid, Vertigo? What do you think electronic warfare is? It's just fucking space magic.
I love it. The question asker Eric said, "I love you, Paul. Here's a good question." Rips me apart in the first 2 minutes. When I say it's a good question, I mean that it's a question that is clearly been brought up before, and people have opinions on it. And even if I have the answer for it, it's still a good question to ask because someone else has asked that question. So it's more of a like, that's a good question. We have an answer for it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's better to just be like, no, there's actually an answer out there. It's right there. They literally just said it, but not everyone's seen the video, you know? Question Chops Talk asks, is hauling resources going to matter in 4.7, or is it still just for money? I mean, what?
I mean, they'll always matter, right? And with crafting, it'll matter more player to player.
Yeah.
You're not just hauling A to B to get money. We're going to start. Hopefully, it's going to start sort of an intrinsic player economy. It's going to make those natural player gameplay loops. I want to make this gun. I need this. Cool. I mine this. I will get it for you for X amount of money. And while money is completely broken right now, everyone can be a billionaire. You know, until that economy's there. But this is going to be our first taste of an actual player loop. You know, you like mining. I want a better gun. Let's talk. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering at the question because the question is like, what would you be hauling for otherwise?
Love of the game.
Yeah.
Love of the game, I guess.
Just,
yeah.
Love of the craft. Amazon drivers come home from work and all they want to do is haul in space instead.
We call I have memes about that for Elite Dangerous, about how Elite Dangerous is a dad simulator where you come home from working a grueling 14-hour job and you spend another grueling 14 hours hauling cargo in your video games. There's people who do that. They come home from work and they log on to the video game to play a job, right?
That's what my wife says to me all the time. Are you going to go do some Amazon deliveries in space? I'm like, yes, I am.
Yes.
All right. Pull this up because I think we got most of
yes,
that.
indeed.
Ask you. Parker asks. Parker XGPS asks. How much should FPS be able to punch up and take down hostile ships? Should enough pistol or SMG mags be able to?
No.
Outside the ship? Outside the ship?
Is one of the things.
Inside the ship?
Inside the ship,
yes.
maybe.
Yeah, you get inside and shoot the power plant. Nice, good job. On the outside, it's just sort of like.
Should a 9mm Parabellum be able to take down an M1 Abrams from the outside?
No. But could a 9
Um,
mm inside the engine block
Yeah,
take down
if you shoot the the oil filter,
Yeah.
with a 9 mm, it's gonna stop that engine eventually. But the thing is this like if you have like heavy weapons that are designed to hurt spaceships, sure, yeah, okay, you should be able to take down a Gladius. I think the boom tube is a little overtuned right now. Like it can one shot a Cutlass Black, which is silly in my opinion,
Mhm.
Crazy.
and it's a little too much. The railgun, it can hurt ships as well if you let it. But we need to move away from like hull hit points and like start moving towards actually hitting weak spots, thrusters, weapons, and stuff like that.
Go ahead, Axis.
If we want to talk about small caliber arms that actually work, maybe a 50 caliber armor penetrator, but it's not going to kill a ship. Maybe aim for a vital section to disable it, but it'll be a small ship. It'll be something like M50 size or smaller.
Yeah.
Anything like a Cutlass, you might take out the pilot and cause a crash, but it won't, kill the actual ship, right? It'll just go through the windshield, killing the pilot, right? Like a armor penetrating round, right, Paul?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I could see it, but like I think there's a whole conversation which they didn't have with FPS, which I think they should have had with the FPS guys, and I think they kind of, because the question that was asked with them about the boom tube specifically, they were like, it's fine. It's like the question is, FPS scale weapons to larger ships seems unbalanced compared to the opposite. Vehicle weapons should have more of an impact on FPS than they currently do. Like if I'm
and this is the one thing why I like damage gating a little bit is because a pistol really shouldn't be able to hurt a spaceship, and spaceship weapons above a certain size should just turn people into beef stroganoff if they so much as graze you.
Yeah, the concussion of that thing flying by you should turn your brain into mashed potatoes. So like, and I think that's the issue is more of a, it feels weird to shoot a size 2 repeater and hit a dude straight in the chest and have him stand up as if nothing happened. You have to hit him like 6 times for him to die. Whereas if I got out of the ship, yeah. But if I got out of the ship and I shot him with like a full magazine of P4, he's dead. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And a lot of that is CIG is using a straight damage hit point model. They're not really using like, oh, you have infantry hit points and the ship has ship hit points, and ship hit points take 99.9% less damage from infantry-based weapons, but infantry-based armor takes 100% damage from infantry-based weapons. That's usually how you solve that problem, but they're getting to it. Right, we recently just got the armor system in for like ship-to-ship weapons, and they had some damage gating in there.
I have a feeling that there is a system like this in Squadron. They just haven't ported it over, because like when Star Citizen's damage was first created, it was created with ship-to-ship combat in mind. They didn't really think about the FPS combat. And then originally, when it was created with like 2.0, going all the way back then, there was really less or almost no chance you were going to get hit by a ship weapon, because like there was you weren't going to land on planets really. So I mean,
Security Post Korea, you're more likely to get run over at Security Post Korea than you are to get shot by somebody in a spaceship weapon.
Yeah. So when 3.0 comes around, I don't think they really changed how they did damage. I think that's what Maelstrom is designed to do, is to change that formula so that it makes more sense. And so the system we're currently using is probably just a patched together version of the 2.0 system, or the original Arena Commander system, which didn't have really a thing for FPS damage. So, yeah. All right. I think that's the last big YouTube question. I'll come back to that, but I'll go back to Twitch, see questions they had there. Also, at Movie Sports, welcome. I didn't see the raid there. Thank you. Bastion asks, as previously discussed, first person is how players view the world. Part of the space opera world, based on early dev talks, mentioned planet/system storylines. In your opinion, would NPCs talking to face or via Mobi be enough to convey engaging stories, or will the story team have to construct a way to intrigue players similar to newsreels videos we can see around Orison, or even forcing camera from player into third-person cutscenes? I think they could do atmospheric storytelling. CIG is really good at atmospheric storytelling. You can tell that from the Squadron 42 prequel. Like just the walking through the ship, you're picking up on other people talking about events that are going on. There's the news in the background that you can hear about stuff that's going on. You're picking up on your crewmates talking as you approach them while they're there. You learn a lot of stuff. The CIG is really good at atmosphere. We talked about this in the other one with like Onyx. Onyx is a master class of how to tell an atmospheric story, because you immediately feel different in Onyx compared to everywhere else. It feels different because of the music, the ambience, the way that the levels are built, the encounters you have. All of them are a different frame compared to a bunker mission, and I think CG is really good at it. So yeah, I think doing atmospheric storytelling. The problem I think right now is that there's not a lot of I stumbled upon this thing. I should investigate this thing, and now I have a story I can get into. That's really what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Well, we're getting Squadron, are we? That's your face to face. That's your talking to the NPC. This is the job. This is you're going to be your 40-hour story driven content. That's going to drive the people to Star Citizen, where the world is designed for you to live your life in the stars as you want to live your life. So, like you say there, Paul, if you walking through a station and someone goes, "Oh, I found this, this funny looking rock cluster on Daymar," and you'd be like, "Oh, okay." Maybe you could talk to that person and like probe them for more information. But like you say, those atmospheric it's not there yet, is it? It's that exploration piece. It's that going out into the world and going, oh, what can I find today?
Yeah.
The reason to do that is not there yet. So I think while it won't necessarily need to be go to NPC gives quest, you go do quest, go back to NPC. I think it doesn't need that. Star Citizen won't work like that, I don't think, but that's what we get Squadron for. But yeah, the atmospheric thing, I think they can improve on an already good system there. Yeah,
like a good example of this is Hathor and Stormbreaker. There is nothing to tell a player who doesn't already know about those places that those places exist, and that there's a full arc in terms of what you can do at those locations. There should be someone talking about like, here there's some value in that old Hathor station. Oh, the giant mining laser above that, above that moon. Yeah, no, you can. There's some good stuff in there. I've been told about. I've been hearing secrets about that. It's like that place is swarming with outlaws. Yeah, but if someone managed to get that station up and running, get those batteries slugged into it, and fired that laser, there's some money. That conversation could happen in the game right now, and it would make people go. It could drive people towards that location if they say, "Oh, Hathor," and then they look on their map and they find it, and they go to there and like, "Wait, is this actually true? Are they actually telling us stuff?" And
Well, it's kind of what I was saying earlier in the main podcast about like the Faro stations. Like most people wouldn't know to go there to find weapon attachments and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that the NPCs probably in Pyro, obviously, but from anywhere, you could be in a bar and some guy goes, "Oh, I picked up this fantastic scope from this Faro station on Pyro 4," and you're like, "Huh, cool." Off I go. You know what I mean? That reason, a natural reason in the game that you've discovered that, and rather than just Google and how do I get the best attachments? Oh, Pyro 4, cool, right? So
exactly. There needs to be more natural, inverse sandbox, like things to push players in directions that they need to go that matter. And I think that there will be a lot of buy-in from players if you teach players that if you're listening to the universe, the universe is telling you things. Players will listen to the universe more, which means there's more players will get invested into the game's universe rather than just.
You have to, if you're gonna train your players to deal with your weird crap. So if you want players to know about Hathor, your players are going to learn about Hathor from other players or content creators such as us talking about Hathor. on podcasts and
Yeah.
Twitch and YouTube videos and
Yeah.
TikTok, and you're like, oh, what's this about this YouTube TikTok stuff? Or you can try to keep them in the game and discuss it in the game, and players find it out that way instead of like from, hey, I watched this TikTok about this really good place to get a lot of money. Let's go visit it, man. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
it's a great way of also building in people will care about the universe more, because if you teach players that every conversation could have a benefit to them that an NPC has, or anything that you see, then they will look at it. You put a chest behind a waterfall, and players go behind the waterfall and find the chest. They're being taught there is chests, stuff behind these waterfalls. Every time they see a waterfall from there on, they're like, gotta check
I'm
for
gonna
chest.
check that waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
I did that in Satisfactory just recently too, where I was building a coal power plant. I'm like, there's a waterfall. I wonder if there's anything behind, and there was.
Yeah.
There was a thing behind that waterfall.
There has to be. There just has to be.
Yeah.
You just want to run the streets, don't you? You know, like if you're in a dive bar in Area 18 or something like that, you want to hear some dingy character behind you over talking, and then it's like, okay, that's a nice tidbit of information. If you want us to immerse, let us immerse. You know what I mean? Let's get.
And that's what I'm trying to talk about when we talk about finding information from outside the game, with from YouTubers and Twitch and TikTok and whatnot like that. You're not immersed in the game. That's what Chris Roberts wants. He wants you to stay in the game, stay immersed, right?
Yeah.
And listen to the dialogue, the NPCs talk, the bartenders. You go up to the bartender and ask him if there's any rumors you've heard recently. Chris Roberts loves the bartender being like a focal point of like
all of his
socializing
games.
and
All of his
All of
games.
his games.
He may have an alcohol problem because of the amount of times the bars show up in his game. Bars are always the most important parts of any Chris Roberts game, which is a weird thing to say. But yeah,
and I mentioned that earlier in our previous segment that we need FPS, we need first person social stuff in Star Citizen.
Yeah.
And right now, a lot of players get their information from Star Citizen from outside of Star Citizen, not inside the game. They get it from third-party websites. They get it from content creators. They get it from Reddit. They get it from the forums, and that breaks immersion.
I love
and
Mr. Kraken. But put Mr. Kraken in the fucking game if you want to use Mr. Kraken's guides.
Yeah. So if you want to get people immersed, try to keep people in the game. NPCs talking about cool missions, and suddenly you just get like something pops up on your screen, like a little note. Like Starfield did that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I walked past a advertisement in Starfield that was talking about a job position. Yeah. And it led to this gigantic mission chain about corporate sabotage and murder and intrigue. And I just walked past a fucking sign that was talking about, hey, you want a job? We'll pay you. And it was just like, boop.
Yeah.
Go talk to this person in this star system to get a job. And I'm like, this seems stupid. Why that? Okay, whatever. Okay, Todd, I'll bite. I'll go. And it turned into this gigantic mission chain, which was one of the best mission chains in like Starfield.
And I don't think you necessarily need to always have you add this to your notepad, but like if you see if it's constantly being brought up, and people you hear the same dialogue over and over again, and
or same variants of dialogue.
Yeah.
People keep mentioning something.
Then it's clearly something's going on. Yeah. They're kind of doing that now with the events. They have like the event dialogue, like with the Clear the Air event. When you go into Levski, all you hear is coughing and people talking like, I'm fine, I'm not sick.
I had a thing that popped up today where like, how the NPCs cower all over the place still from like dead bodies.
Yeah.
Players backspace, they leave a body. NPCs see the dead body, they start cowering. A guy backspaced at Levski, and his equipment got looted off him, and he turned into like this slender man. He just his body contorted like he didn't have any bones. And I'm like, see, everyone, there's the mold. That's what the mold does to you. It eats your bones. Because that's the most interesting part of the Molena mold, is that it gives you bone lesions.
Yeah.
Like it's a bone-eating mold. Like it gives you headache, nausea, diarrhea, constipation. Wait, but how does it give you diarrhea and constipation at the same time? Whatever, don't ask questions. But it eats your bones. Like, why don't you guys lead with that as a symptom of this infection?
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We've got a lot of questions to get through, and I want to try to get through because we've already been doing this for 44 minutes. So, Skyguard asks, do you think the current FPS gameplay is representative of gameplay we'll see in Squadron 42? I'm
No.
gonna jump on this right away because
No.
we already know. No, they literally said during the FPS section on Star Citizen Live, like there is like 7 different things that they have in Squadron 42 they don't have in Star Citizen. They're bringing to Star Citizen.
There is so much more coming from Squadron. They have yet to port over to Star Citizen. Like FPS sliding, that's something they showed off at CitizenCon like 2 years ago, and we still
FPS
don't
radar,
have
the different animations,
that.
like more weapon sway, new weapon audios, that kind of stuff. So
They're still dialing things in from Squadron, and then we're gonna get that stuff from Squadron. Probably later this year. They've been talking a lot about Squadron, so I am believing that Squadron is coming later this year. I am confident, more than 60% confident that Squadron 42 is going to come out this year. Maybe
they're saying that more and more.
Yeah.
They're talking about it more and more. Whereas this, like last year, they were just like, let's not talk about. We don't talk about Squadron. We just don't.
I know this because I've talked with several people inside CIG, but the like the lower employees have finally been told when it's not. I've not been told a date by them, but I've been told a month. They were told, so they know what month it's coming out. So that's part of the reason why they're probably talking about it, because they're like, oh shit, it's almost coming out. Like we're doing this damn thing. It's coming. So, and I will say it's this year. The more I've talked with them, the more they're like, yeah, it's still coming this year. Even last year, like it's going to come out in 2026. It might come out like a kidney stone, but it'll come out, you know. All right. All right. Sears Fun Games asks, other than making FPS ostensibly recognizable / comfortable to fans of current FPS games, why should this universe sim model anything that's been done in this area in the Star Citizen experience? Why shouldn't we see innovation that's the hallmark of the project? Why leap into it, the typicality of the commonplace, and regurgitate what's been done? Ease of building.
Yeah.
You know it works. Like, look at the time period before WASD was the standard.
Oh my god, I can talk about that. I have experience with the absolutely stupid control schemes of the very first-person shooters out there.
Yes.
You didn't have strafe. You had turn left and turn right. You had to hold Alt to strafe left or right. You couldn't look up and down. And you did have games that's why Duke Nukem 3D was called Duke Nukem 3D, because you could look up and you could look down, but you had to hold shift and then press W on your keyboard to look up. Oh my god. And people actually played first person shooters a long time ago. Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Doom, Duke Nukem 3D. They played those games with joysticks.
Yes.
Unironically, computers came with joysticks for the games, and people used the joystick, the stupid 2-button joystick, for every video game they had, including the first-person shooters.
That's my point. And then you look at the control schemes of of consoles until Halo came out, and Halo standardized the button layouts. And even after Halo, they were still playing with it. Like there's some weird shit, and it still happens on. Space Marine 2 has the weirdest fucking button layout I have ever fucking seen on a console. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And so every time you'll see people try to innovate with those sorts of things, and it's like, it blows up in your face. There's certain degrees of... Go ahead.
Or you're so fucking brilliant that people love you because you're so goddamn weird. Kojima.
Yeah.
Like Hideo Kojima and Metal Gear Solid had some of the weirdest goddamn controls. Like you had to, or Metal Gear Solid 2, where you had to like press a button to draw and point your gun, like, and then you had to press another button to shoot your gun, and then you had another button to go into like first person mode. So you had to hold your gun out, you had to go into first person mode, then you had to shoot your gun, and then you also had to aim your gun at the same time. It was a nightmare, but people loved that game when it was released. Right? And you had this, or Splinter Cell, and like, it's weird controls, because sometimes your game bends around your control scheme, or the tank controls from the very first Resident Evil. I was watching a streamer the other night playing Resident Evil remake. things were weird. I remember when real-time strategy games were fighting over what the left and right mouse buttons did.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do you select your units? You left click to drag and then select, or do you right click and drag? How do you deselect your units? Do you left click on empty territory? No, that moves. You right click on empty territory? No, that attacks. You have to press a button on your keyboard to deselect all your units that you just selected. I mean, there was a time period when it was the Wild West. Everyone was trying to figure out what controllers and what controls did. Eventually we settled on WSADs, which is, thank God we finally did that.
But that's my point of like, why do you stick with what's known, is because it is not just it's comfortable, but because you can experiment and things can blow up in your face. And you don't want to, especially with like Squadron 42, you don't want your first game to the market to be like, let's get weird with FPS, because people are going to go, what the fuck is this game? How is it?
You better have some fucking big ass balls if you're gonna start messing with FPS controls. Like, and you better have a vision, and you better have something to back that up.
Tight. You better be the two founders of Call of Duty. When they went off to make Titanfall. Like you better
like
be
I'm talking Mass Effect levels. Like Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect was clunky to play. Like combat. But the story, the characters carried that experience, right? Everybody hates on the Mako, right? You get in that stupid tank and you're bouncing around in the middle of the goddamn empty map shooting shit. That's so fucking awful. But everybody remembers Mass Effect for the characters, the story, the Paragon and Renegade interrupts, right? The quotes from Shepard. That's what nobody remembers the combat was. Everybody bitched about like when they casualized combat in Mass Effect 2, that fell away really quickly because of just how well everything was put together after they changed everything for Mass Effect 2.
Another first-person game of that era in 2000, when did Mass Effect come out? 2004?
2000 something, 5, yeah.
In 2002, the first Metroid Prime came out. And remember, Metroid had been a 2D sprite game forever. And then they switched to a completely new format with Prime. People were afraid that they wouldn't be able to make the transition at all with Metroid Prime. And yet, it got a remaster, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it shows what the GameCube was not capable of doing at the time, but it's still a damn good shooter for the time. Retro Studios knocked it out of the park.
2007, by the way. That was Metroid.
The main thing, obviously,
Mass Effect.
The main thing about obviously everything that Vertigo's, the history of gaming we've just got from Vertigo there is which was fantastic. I loved it. Is that the sort of everything back in the day needed to innovate, it needed to change. Everyone was just trying to go, no, this is the way we're going to play games, and then Nintendo would do something weird, and they'd be like, yeah, but no, we're going to play it this way, and everyone else would go, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do it this way, and we've got to a point of almost like universal standardization. This is the accepted standard now. This is how you play an FPS game. This is how you play an RTS game. If you're going to innovate, it's going to have to be something within the game. So for Star Citizen, that needs to be that
it can't be the
universal
control
sandbox.
scheme.
No, that's it. Play around with your keyboard. Play around with your flight sticks. Do your Stream Deck, whatever you set it up however you like. Get all your peripherals. You do you. But this is the standard. When it comes to WASD, we're just going to go with
that's
what
one thing
wants.
that Star Citizen does do really well is like the sheer vastness of controllers that we support. Dual joysticks and keyboard, joysticks and mouse, joysticks with pedals, joysticks head tracking, eye tracking, face tracking, weird keyboard keyboard button box. I've seen content creators, streamers, YouTubers make their own custom button boxes for like mining. Use your Stream Deck, the same deck you use for controlling OBS. You can use that to play Star Citizen. I have buttons set up for like switching weird salvage modes that I can never remember what the hotkeys are. I just have
Yeah,
like a little
yeah.
picture of like, oh, this
Yeah.
activates fracture mode because I can never remember what the
Yeah.
hotkey is for that.
Yeah, I've got a randoms thing on my stream deck where it's just like, these are all the things that if I forget what a keybind is, I add it to this page.
Mhm.
And then occasionally I'll go back to it and go, oh yeah, that was that thing I couldn't find last time. Here it is.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much. It's like, this is, so the customization of controls is go for it. Do what you want.
Yeah,
I think
and that's
so.
that's a strength and a weakness for
Yeah.
Star Citizen. There's nothing turns off new players more when I swap over to the control page and just show them like, yeah, here's the image of all the controls that are bound right
Yeah.
now to your keyboard, and then let's go to the actual key binding page.
Yeah.
Here's all the things you
Yeah.
can
7
potentially bind.
pages. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone-
it's massive. Like you have but a
Streams
lot
has
of
just
that,
dropped.
and players will ask me like, why are all that stuff there? It's for people that have 2 joysticks with like 30 buttons on them,
Yeah.
plus all the pedals and whatnot, right? Star
I-
Citizen gives you options, and options sometimes give you like fatigue just looking at that stuff.
and to wrap up the question, which is, I think, as you were pointing it out, is that Star Citizen already and CIG already innovate tremendously inside what they do.
Yes, they do.
The like the idea of a fully seamless universe with no loading screens or anything like that is a huge draw. It's why people try out the game. There's the ambition of Star Citizen is already there. You at a certain point, you just got to say, this is where our ambitions are, and we're going to keep everything else here, so we don't go, we don't end up as Hideo Kojima doing weird shit on our first game that people already think is a scam. Like, there needs to be a level. Maybe Star Citizen version 6 can have the weird ass control schemes that people or the FPS feels differently, so you're like launching yourself with mini nukes at an enemy or whatever, like whatever CIG wants to go by that point. But FPS needs to feel,
you have to have
normal.
approachability in your control scheme initially, right?
Not
You
just
have to,
not just in
because-
control scheme, but also in the feel of the gameplay itself.
yeah.
You know,
The onboard, the first step needs to be low,
Yeah.
but then obviously the sky's the limit from there.
Yeah.
You take it as far as you want to go. I got dual sticks, didn't fancy pedals. There you go. I've
Yeah.
got a mate who's got pedals. Fair enough. There you go. It's the sky's the limit. You do what you want to do. If you want to fly with a keyboard and mouse, go for it. You know what I mean? It gives you that option. I think that's it.
all right. I'm gonna pick some of the best questions here because we're already about an hour in, and I want to make sure that we've got some of them. Because some of them, like one of the questions, the next one is like, if CIG just decentivized heavy armors tomorrow, how could they do it best? They talked about it on that's literally one of the things they talked about specifically on the Star Citizen Live, where they're like, heavy weapon, and you move slower, you have less stamina, and if you try to do anything else other than combat, you're going to be passing out more. You're not going to take G's as well. So they're just things like that. Rito Squared asks, I have a buddy that bought a Crucible. He's losing hope. Do you think CIG will make any progress on repair gameplay? No.
We've already made some progress. We have like FPS stuff, FPS repair for some of the ASD Onyx facilities, and the Rockcracker dungeons. We got engineering brought a whole bunch of repair to spaceships, right? But that's like FPS stuff and salvage.
Yeah.
There is hope. There is hope. Engineering brought a whole bunch of repair stuff. So the problem is the Crucible is a really old concept, and I think its concept is outdated.
Yeah. It's one of those,
We need
it's a reclaimer situation.
Yeah.
They made it before they understood what the gameplay was.
So CIG needs to figure out, like, do we want to just have magic repair beams, or do we want to have, I don't know, some like tractor beam kind of thing that sprays repair gel at stuff that comes out of the side of the ship? That's just bigger FPS repair, basically. Right?
It depends how indeed. Yeah. Like, do you want to physically craft the wing of your Avenger Titan and reattach it, then use like a welding beam, or do we just want the frame to stay there and you just fill in the spraying the gaps as it kind of is now. It depends what level of detail, because in the end of the day, do you want people to be running mechanic like garages, mechanic shops
Yeah.
in the verse? Like, oh crap, I've lost a wing. Like, can I make it to dude's chop shop and get him to fix me a new wing? So
I think CIG can kind of cheat on the Crucible by reconcepting it to use drones instead, and just have the drones have like big repair beams on them, and you just shoot the beams to repair the ship.
Like
It basically does exactly
the old style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does exactly. Well, you can remote control the drones
Mhm.
from like the bridge, and then you could fly them around like little spaceships, and they shoot instead of having like a laser repeater on them. You just have a repair beam. You can shoot at a ship, and it does exactly what we do now for repairing ship's hull. And then you can print like replacement parts or in like the ship's hangar or something like that.
Yeah.
Or since the Crucible is supposed to have a garage, you could put ships in the garage, and the garage closes up entirely. You can't see the ship anymore, and then suddenly the garage opens up, and the ship's fully repaired after a short timer
Like
or something.
GTA.
Yeah.
Things on fire, battered, broken, no wings, down, back up, perfect.
So it's one of those ships I think that CIG needs to reconcept to make it work with their current vision of Star Citizen.
All right. Answer that question. Okay. We've got 7. Okay.
Lightning round?
Lightning round.
Lightning
This
round.
Steve the Dancer asks, what do you think the new RSI ship is?
Aurora
It's the
Mark
Aurora
II.
Mark II. Like everyone, it's the Aurora. I think they threw us all off by showing the picture of the Aurora Mark One in that sneak preview the previous week, and then this week they showed us the Mark II.
Yeah.
They were trying to be like the old and the new, you know. So, what new feature do each of you are looking forward to this year? Scanning. Axis, what are you looking forward to? What feature are you looking forward to?
What future like stuff we're putting in the game?
For this year, what feature you want to see this year that we know of or we have an idea is likely going to come out?
Maybe at least some word on base building.
Base building?
I know we just got crafting.
Mhm.
It doesn't even have to be in game. Long shot, like at Citizen Con. Maybe some news on base building. At least the initials of what it requires. Do we need a specific plot of land size? Like for putting down a small structure, right? Like basics.
Where'd it go?
What feature? We don't need.
I'm trying to go fast.
Man, instants seem to be nice. More dungeons for more interesting, because the level design team is doing a great job, and I think the more we let them cook, the better.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Instance is a big one. I've always been a decently big PvE player, so getting the chance to experience some self-contained stories would be sick. And then it'd have to be scanning or hacking, but I don't think we're going to see hacking. So scanning, because that's going to bring out the explorer side of things, hopefully.
Omega's bringing up the true feature that Vertigo and I really want, which is full immersive pooping.
Yeah.
We did an entire Captain's Table episode when Saturday was April 1st. Was Vertigo, myself, and Darionator, and because we made a joke about how if Chris Roberts was going to do pooping, we would like do full mocap, and they would have to do the audio guys would be sitting there at the stuff trying to record shits and the different types of shits, and some poor animator would have to hand animate everything. We were losing our minds for it. We decided to do an entire episode of the Captain's Table just on poop, the pooping mechanics. So yeah, that's true.
I mean, it would make the Grey's Market shiv even more amazing, really, wouldn't it? If you got to do, you got to use that bucket.
That bucket.
That bucket, yeah, you got to put it to work.
Halder asks, considering all the starware and armor restrictions stuff they talked about, I don't know if we already talked about that. We talked about that one. Oh, they cut all those. All right, so we only have one more question. The last question is from Steve at Answer, who asks, what do you think the minimum quality materials should need to be to craft base item stats? Should there be negative stats for bad quality? What would be the quality of items bought at shops if dismantled? Access. Since I know you're more of an industry guy, I'll ask that question again. What do you think the minimum quality? What do you think the minimum quality materials should be to craft base item stats? Should there be negative item stats? And what should the quality of items? What should the quality of items be that you purchase at shops?
Shops should be like a standard quality, which would be like average.
What's average?
Like
do you
say,
think would be?
like say low is 50.
Mhm.
At the very low is like 50 to 200, and then we have 200 to average is 500 at most. Okay, I'm just
At the
saying,
moment,
Dell.
at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you say, TM.
But like at the low end, like terrible quality, be like 50 to 150. So like terrible quality, it would have negative aspects like maybe high overheat or misfiring or barrel damage, depending on how terrible the quality is of the make. I mean, in the real world of weapons, without getting too much into detail, if you improperly make a gun, some guns can misfire just spontaneously. Certain SIG or whatever gun or whatever they are.
The 9mm, right? That's the Sigma 9mm.
Yeah.
That one.
I keep seeing that pop up in the news, and I'm like, will we have situations like that in Star Citizen? Good Lord, that would be terrifying. And then the bullet ricochets inside and might injure your crew.
Yeah. I do like the idea though. What you're saying is like there should be a standard whatever 500 right now, but like the lower the quality, there should be higher chances of problems. Not necessarily negative stats, but like for weapon.
From my understanding, CIG unlocked the floor on crafting, so you can craft with whatever garbage material you'll find, and you're right now in the PTU, you will get armor and weapons kicked out with negative stats.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, you'll still have some damage mitigation from you're not going to craft a gun that has negative damage and you'll heal people if you shoot them with it, but it'll reduce the amount of damage of the gun or reduce the amount of armor damage reduction you get from the armor.
I'm pretty sure it'll fly in to reload and probably damage to the weapon as well.
Yeah, our guns that do negative damage, it reloads the enemy's guns so they can kill us faster.
You get shot with a gun and it turns into a med gun. Like, oh, I feel better now. You fixed my broken arm. Thank you. You know,
that was literally like a joke in like Red versus Blue season 1.
Yeah.
I believe.
Oh my God,
he had a medical gun that shot people to health.
Yeah, a misfiring weapon would probably be the least of your worries. You could have one explode like a grenade launcher. Boom.
I do think that what should happen is where you buy your gear from should determine what quality it is. There should be no average quality. I think that concept should be thrown into the dustbin. I think there should be the quality you need to get the stats it's supposed to have, which should be 500. But in Stanton, you'll get like up to a 500 quality gear when you're purchasing it because it's being purchased right off the shelves. In some cases, literally right next to where it's being produced, in places like ArcCorp. But in Pyro, you're really going to sit there and be like, I'm going to dismantle this dead rig shotgun, which is welded together with like pipe scraps and chewing gum and hope. And it's going to give you the same material at 500 quality. That's a joke. That should not have 500 quality. A 500 quality dead rig should be like what are you, Jesus? Like how did you manage to fix this thing that good? So there should be different like qualities depending on what you're purchasing and where you're buying it from.
Sorry.
But I mean, it's true though. I mean, think about it.
I mean, a dead rig that doesn't blow you up at the end of the day is a good day.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that like the quality of armor and weapons you see on an enemy should be varied depending on their status. Like Xenothreat, full standard quality, everything's good. What are they? The headhunters, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They should have lower quality because they're just rifters in space, or they live in pyro. Versus like the rough and ready should have maybe a little bit better than headhunters, but not as good as Xenothreat. Like there should be some variation in terms of the quality you get from the enemies, gear and stuff like that. Vertigo, what do you think?
Oh, I think they should.
I think that if you're crafting like the best crap, you have to go out and make it fresh.
Yes.
That if you eliminate an NPC or a player, that equipment, and I hate this and then it happens, but if you want to have a thriving like industrial player base and actually have people who collect blueprints and craft this stuff, anything that a player drops and you loot off them, anything an NPC drops and you loot off them has to be reduced quality. And when you recycle that item, it has to generate equivalent quality materials. So you can get like a special drop, like a stealth tech gun from like Wing Commander, Privateer, where the end of the game gets you this like really special gun that's used to kill this like drone that's been following you the entire game. That's unkillable by conventional means. You could do that and make it so it can't be repaired at all, right? Or you have to go to a abandoned merchantman to get it repaired or something like that. But if you're doing what I'm doing and you're taking like armor and weapons off like NPCs, they have to be like reduced quality. Otherwise, like, what's the point of having crafting if you just get good? If you can get decent or good enough stuff just by looting it off dead NPCs or players.
Yeah, I agree. DZ, any thoughts on you? Like, what should the base quality be? Obviously there are negative qualities now, but
Yeah. So I think like you've all touched on, really, it's the zone. It'd be zone specific. Like you say, Pyro will be a bit naff. People's Republic Knicks, we're looking, slightly better. They're a bit more organized, but and then Stanton, obviously, you're going to expect a better quality of drop. As for what the standard should be, it's hard to say, like you say, because what's like what Virgo just said there. What's the point in crafting if you can pick up the best stuff from other players or from loot from NPCs, or just buy them in a shop? Like, is the shop level? The shop level's got to be worth it for new players. Absolutely, it's got to be, like I say, average or just below average. I guess you've got to start the game at least. The first thing's not a rusted pipe gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some Fallout thing that's it fires one bullet for every 6 that you actually attempt to fight, because otherwise people are just going to uninstall and leave. So yeah, I think it's a tough one. Loots, it's obviously changing the loot. I think it's going to be a lot more about the attachments, which is something that obviously I think that's going to nullify those negative modifiers and things like that. So I'm hoping that the focus becomes more on the customization of the weapon rather than just making this is the standard of weapon that you make, and this is how I can make it better. So if you get a below average gun, get the right attachments, craft the right things, find the right loot, the right attachments, that kind of thing, then it becomes above average, and now it's nullified the negative effects. So I think it's more. Crafting needs to give that more customization feel. I think for me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. That's the last question for today. Thank you so much to Citizen DZ, that direction, for being here. Check him out at YouTube, Citizen_DZ. Check out Axis0096 on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, all of the
YouTube,
platforms.
Yeah, pretty much everything. Primarily YouTube and Twitch, though.
And then check out HG Vertigo, Twitch and YouTube. You stream like pretty much every day. Which day is off usually?
Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my days off. And 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. That's the Seattle, Los Angeles time zone. And I try to get a YouTube video up every Saturday now.
Yeah.
Nice. If not more, but we've been fairly consistent about getting one up on Saturdays.
And Escape comes in with a 20 bomb. Thank you, Escape. Thank you so much for hanging out for us. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this, hit that follow button on Twitch. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like the video. Hit the bell icon to be notified when it's release. As always, leave your comments down below on anything we've talked about. Always love to hear those your thoughts. I do read all of them, even if I don't always get back to them. And if you want to join us live, we do this at twitch.tv/theastropub and youtube.com/@thecaptainstable podcast on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, which is currently 8 p.m. British time, which is going to change to 9 p.m. British time soon, because I think it's because of time differences and your daylight savings time is different from ours. So,
yeah, it changes in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Daylight saving. Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Like I always say, hope to see you someday. The Black.